So good morning, all of you. Can you hear me, all of you? Yes, Lokesh?
Yes, ma'am.
Hope my voice is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are going to discuss liver today, but it's very, very important essay question. So all of you please pay attention. Okay. So like there are so many comedies based on alcohol and liver. They are generally considered as best friends forever. Okay, that means alcohol generally damages liver. Okay, one more quote also I have kept. Liver and wallet are like this. That means what? Of course, now everybody is on lockdown. So you want to prevent like all waste of money, then you should avoid alcohol. That is the meaning. Okay, that is enough. Now let us see what are the learning objectives we have for liver. So we will see some introduction, shape and situation, weight, presenting parts, relations, ligaments, factors which are keeping the liver in position, lobes, blood supply, lymphatic drainage, nerve supply, structure and applied anatomy. So these are the headings under which you will be asked the essay question. Okay, so which I have kept as learning objectives. Now see, liver is the largest gland of the body. So it is like it has both exocrine part and endocrine part. So exocrine part, yesterday we have done extrahepatic and intrahepatic biliary apparatus in detail, and we have learned like liver produces bile juice. So endocrine part produces plasma proteins and also heparin, which is an anticoagulant. So it is undertaking all metabolisms, what you study in biochemistry, the protein, carbohydrate, and the fat, lipid metabolism, everything is under the control of liver. It regulates the body temperature and usually it produces RBCs during the fetal life. That's how it is hemopoietic during fetal life. Okay. Now coming to the shape of liver, it looks like wedge shaped. Okay, and it is broad at the base. Okay, and more broad towards right side when you compare to the left side. Okay. Now coming to the 9 regions of abdomen, what we have already always discussed. Now again I'm asking you a few questions. What is this vertical line? Where is this vertical line cutting? Mid clavicular, isn't it? The two vertical lines we draw at mid clavicular plane. So this is one mid clavicular plane, this is one more mid clavicular plane. Then we have two horizontal lines, one is transpyloric and the other is transtubercular. So like that we have 9 regions of abdomen, no? Right hypochondric, epigastric, left hypochondric, isn't it? Right lumbar, umbilical, left lumbar, right iliac fossa, hypogastric, left iliac fossa. Okay, like that. Now, when you just see the liver, where is it placed? See here, it is situated in the right hypochondrium and a part of epigastrium, and it is also going, a part of it is also going into left hypochondrium, isn't it? So, this is the site. Now, coming to the weight. So in the adult male, it measures 1.5 kg approximately. So that is 1.4 to 1.8 kgs, and in adult female 1.2 to 1.4 kgs. At birth, it is 150 grams. Okay. So in the newborn baby, it is 1/8 of the body weight, and proportional weight in adults. So overall, 1/40th of the body weight is actually contributed by liver. Okay. Now, so see here, liver is kept well in position. It is not falling into the abdominal cavity. That means what? There are some factors which are keeping the liver in position, isn't it? So the main factors which keep liver in position are the veins here. Those are the hepatic veins. Where are the hepatic veins opening? Hansraj, yesterday I told you. Very good. Into the inferior vena cava. So all these hepatic veins will be opening into inferior vena cava and they will be lifting liver upwards. So abdominal pressure of surrounding viscera also will keep the liver in position. And also we have studied so many ligaments when we were doing peritoneum. So all those ligaments will actually keep the liver in position. Okay. Now, general characteristics of liver, it is highly vascular, that means it has a rich blood supply. It is reddish brown, okay, soft solid organ, it moves with respiration and it is essential for life. Now coming to the presenting parts, it has certain surfaces. What are the various surfaces? It has, I will elaborate, we will see. Very good, diaphragmatic surface, anterior surface, posterior surface. Okay, as you are telling lower, that is nothing but inferior or the visceral surface. This side also liver will have very wide area. You call it as the right lateral surface. Very big. I put many pictures to make you understand. So we will see the surfaces, we will see the borders, we will see the lobes, and we will also see certain fissures. So these are the presenting parts. Okay. Now see, this is how you see the liver in dissection hall. It has right lobe, it has left lobe. Between the two lobes, there is a sickle-shaped fold of peritoneum, isn't it? What is the name of this?
Falciform.
So yesterday when we were talking about gallbladder, I told you fundus of the gallbladder is projecting outwards. Garvosier sign, which is responsible, is corresponding with 9th costal cartilage, I said. Isn't it?
Yes.
So that means the fundus of the gallbladder is seen along the inferior border of the liver. So this sharp border, whatever we are seeing here, is inferior border. Okay, from where you will be seeing actually the fundus of gallbladder. And here actually there is a notch, isn't it? Which is produced due to the lodging of gallbladder. You call this notch as cystic notch. Okay. What is the name of this notch? Cystic notch.
Cystic.
Okay. Now that was which view in the body as it is? Anterior, front. When you see from anterior aspect, liver looks like this. Now you have successfully removed the liver and you have put in the tray. Now you are tilting the liver and you are seeing from inferior aspect. As Hansraj was trying to the lower surface. So this is the surface which you are just lifting and you are trying to see from lower down. So this surface is actually called as visceral surface, okay, or inferior surface. Now when you see from the visceral surface, you will see again two lobes are visible, right lobe and left lobe. But apart from these two lobes, you are finding two more lobes from this aspect. So what are the two more lobes we have? One is caudate lobe and the other is quadrate lobe. So between the caudate lobe and quadrate lobe, there will be an area, okay, which is entry and exit point.
Porta hepatis.
Very good. Porta hepatis. Okay. Porta hepatis. Okay. So this is. Now see here, this is one more view, like porta hepatis is colored here to understand better. Okay, so this is the visceral surface and this H-shaped area, what you are finding is actually the porta hepatis. Okay, you are finding caudate lobe, quadrate lobe. So wherever you are finding gallbladder, that aspect becomes the anterior end of the liver, isn't it? Because fundus of the gallbladder was projecting, you have seen from anterior aspect. Isn't it just now in the previous slide? That means quadrate lobe is present anteriorly. That means when you start the layout from anterior to posterior, the visceral surface. So in the visceral surface, in the front aspect, you have the quadrate lobe and behind you have caudate lobe. In between these two lobes, this area, what you have entry and exit point is nothing but the porta hepatis. Okay. Now, so with this caudate lobe, you are finding there is actually a ligament attached here towards the left side. You call it as ligamentum villosum. Anyhow, I will expand all these points as we proceed. Okay. Now see here. What are the various borders? Now you have seen different aspects of liver. You have seen from front, you have seen the visceral aspect. Now let us see what are the various borders. This border looks very sharp, isn't it? All around, when you see from down, this is the visceral surface. This whole border which you are seeing from down is actually the inferior border. Okay, inferior border. Now, see the other border you have is see here, the posterior, that means this whole border is actually forming the superior border. If you just go much behind and if you check, this becomes actually the posterior superior border. Similarly, this border which is seen from, this is anterior aspect, right? Similarly, this line becomes the posterior aspect. So this aspect of the border is posterior and low, it is placed down. That's why this aspect of the border is posterior inferior border. Posterior inferior is this, posterior superior is this. Overall this border, what you see like this round, this border what we have is the inferior border. Okay. This is a 3D picture, like liver is wedge shape, 1.5 kg. Imagine you can hold the liver in hand, it is so heavy. Okay, now see here. See, this is like whole border, you can use this word superior border. This whole border round, whatever we have is inferior border. Inferior border anteriorly is presenting one notch for the fundus of the gall. What is the name of this notch? Cystic notch. Cystic notch. Okay. You can use this word superior. Actually, in some books, this border, this is seen on the right aspect, no, right lobe of the liver. Obviously, this is seen below the right rib cage, right hypochondric region. That means this border, if you see from above downwards, you call it as right border. Okay. So we have anterior, overall inferior, superior, and the right lateral border. Okay. Now, from here also you are able to see the above border will be the superior and round, lower down, whole border will be the inferior border. Okay. Then now various surfaces what we have. The surface which is just resting below the diaphragm, we call this surface as diaphragmatic surface. And the surface which is seen from down is where you have all visceral organs pressing and they will form their impressions. In fact, we will discuss in detail. So this surface of the liver is visceral surface. Okay. Now, why I kept this slide? When this we have studied very well when we were doing peritoneum. So where to start the peritoneal reflection?
Umbilicus.
Umbilicus. How should we start with? Ligamentum teres. Ligamentum teres. The ligamentum teres continues and it is going between the two lobes of the liver like falciform ligament. Falciform ligament. The falciform ligament goes under the surface of the diaphragm, isn't it, to form coronary ligaments? Isn't it? So the coronary ligament, actually liver is completely peritoneal organ. Okay, liver is completely, suppose this is the liver and you will see everywhere it is surrounded by peritoneum except for few areas which are called as bare areas. Okay, so actually this falciform ligament, now further continuation, coronary ligaments. Okay, it will have superior layer, inferior layer. Then you will see the further continuation is, what is the connection between the stomach and liver called as? Very good, lesser omentum. This connection we find from porta hepatis area. Margins of the porta hepatis will give attachment to the lesser omentum, coming to the lesser curvature of the stomach. Okay, that point again is repeated here when we are discussing liver. Okay, now see, this is the anterior view, how the when you explore the abdomen, when you cut the skin, superficial fascia, fatty layer, membranous layer, 3 oblique muscles, fascia transversalis. Then when you remove the peritoneum, then you will see the very first picture you see in the abdominal cavity is liver. Okay, it's like this. So now the presenting parts we are now continuing. So it has parietal surface and visceral surface. Visceral surface is the one which is lower down, which will receive the impressions of various organs. The parietal surface is further divided into, I told you this particular area is below the ribs. Isn't it? Where I am scrolling the arrow, see here, this whole surface is below the ribs. You call this surface as right lateral surface. Okay, what is the name of this surface? Right lateral surface. Okay, and the surface which is above is superior surface, and the surface which is behind, it's 3D picture. Okay, In front, you call it as anterior surface. Behind, you call it as posterior surface. Okay. Below, you call it as inferior surface. Above, you call it as superior surface. Okay. And the surface which is on the right side is quite big, like this. Okay. You call this surface as right lateral surface. Right lateral surface. Got it? Superior surface, behind is posterior surface, okay, front is anterior surface, and the whole surface this side which is on the right side, that is the right lobe of the liver, right rib cage below, call it as right lateral surface. Okay, now coming to the relations. Now diaphragmatic surface, whatever has been shown in pinkish red color, this is all the diaphragmatic. Diaphragm which is covering the superior surface, anterior surface, and a part of posterior surface. This is all covered with diaphragm, because diaphragm is like a dome which covers the liver from all the directions. No? So this is, and of course I told you falciform ligament continues as coronary. You see, this is actually coronary, which is going like this and covering the liver, continues its journey like this. Okay, so this surface is actually the diaphragmatic surface. Okay, then so this, of course, the lower down we call it as visceral surface. So this superior surface, when you look onto the liver, it looks like convex, isn't it? It's convex. And if you imagine above the diaphragm, we have thoracic cavity, isn't it? Thorax. So in the middle, what is resting?
Heart.
Heart. On either side, what is resting?
Lungs.
Very good. So this convex surface superiorly is showing this impression, which is called as cardiac impression in the middle, where heart is resting. Okay, and this superior surface is obviously related to this muscle, that is diaphragm. Okay, so towards right side it will be related to right lung and right pleura. Towards left side it will be related to left lung, left pleura. In between we will see heart. I hope this point is clear.
Yes.
Now see here, this picture will help us. See, this is the liver, which is actually this muscle completely, whatever we are seeing is diaphragm. Okay. So this is the right lobe of the liver, this is the left lobe of the liver, and this is falciform ligament. So now this is the superior surface of the liver. Superior surface on the right side, it is related to right lung, right pleura. Left side, it is related to left lung, left pleura. And in the middle, it is occupied by heart along with pericardium. I hope this picture made your understanding very easy. Now, if you observe, I actually want to show you one more thing. Stomach. Are you? Can you name what this 6 is standing for?
Greater.
Excellent, Hemalata. Very good. Greater omentum. Unless you lift and cut it, you can't see the coils of small intestine. That means you are getting the orientation properly. I'm happy. Okay. Now see here, this is the right surface, I said, right lateral surface, right lateral surface. Now you see you are viewing the body from the lateral aspect, isn't it? Anteriorly you are finding sternum, posteriorly vertebral column, scapula, and obviously this is the right lateral surface. So again it looks convex, and when you count the ribs, so it is related to 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th ribs, 7th to 12th ribs, and of course the diaphragm also will be covering from this direction, right side like this, because it is like umbrella, no, from all the sides it covers, isn't it? So it is like you will find diaphragm also is covering. Now we are just dividing this right lateral surface into 1, 2 and 3 parts. Okay. So the upper is upper 1/3, middle 1/3 and lower 1/3. So upper 1/3 is related to right lung and right pleura, as we have seen in previous slide. Middle 1/3 will be actually related to costodiaphragmatic recess. Do you remember what is costodiaphragmatic recess? Between the parietal layer and visceral layer of the pleura, there will be a potential space, isn't it? Here, of course, pleura is not here, only lungs are seen. Suppose this is the parietal pleura, this is the visceral pleura. Between the parietal and visceral pleura, so much of empty space is there, which allows the lungs to expand freely, which I have explained you as costodiaphragmatic recess, isn't it? So the middle 1/3 is actually occupied by costodiaphragmatic recess, and lower 1/3 is actually occupied with diaphragm and also body wall. Is it clear? Okay. Upper 1/3 pleural lung, right lung, middle 1/3 costodiaphragmatic recess, lower 1/3 diaphragm and body wall. Okay. Now, in case of liver cancer, liver cirrhosis, liver disorders, we generally go for liver biopsy. Okay, and we just have studied it is lying where 7th to 11th ribs. Okay, so in order to reach the liver, preferably you have to enter between 9th or 10th intercostal spaces at mid-axillary line. This line I told you is the mid-axillary line, isn't it? So just select either 9th intercostal space or 10th intercostal space in the mid-axillary line. Ask the patient to be in forced expiratory stage so that liver comes more close to the thoracic cage, and we can take a small piece of liver easily from this procedure. Okay, that is liver biopsy. Now coming, what is the surface you are seeing from front called as anterior surface? Okay, it looks like a triangle, isn't it? One border like this, one border like this, join these two borders, you get one triangle. So in between, that means like you have two lobes. When you see from anterior aspect, right lobe is quite big, left lobe is little smaller, and between these two lobes we have falciform ligament. Okay, and of course it is related to the ribs, what we have just 7th to 11th ribs. All those are covering. Okay, anteriorly. See, this is the liver. Are you finding the liver clearly? No, because rib cage is still intact. Okay, which is obstructing the view of liver. So anteriorly it is covered with ribs. It's also covered with the xiphoid process and lower part of the body of sternum. And from the left side also we will see the costal cartilages covering the left lobe of the liver. So all these will form the relations of the anterior surface of the liver. Okay, again this picture I kept showing. Anterior surface of the liver is not visible only because it is covered with rib cage, diaphragm, xiphoid process, lower part of the body of the sternum, costal cartilages of the left side as well. Okay, now that's all. See here, relations of the anterior aspect of the liver. So on the right side, it is obviously right costal margin, right dome of diaphragm, then 6th to 10th ribs. Okay, 6th to 10th ribs. Left side, which ribs, costal cartilages we have? Okay, 7th to 8th costal cartilages. Obviously diaphragm also. Left dome of diaphragm. Intermediate, in the middle area, it is related to xiphoid process. Hope this slide is clear.
Mm.
So this picture is also helping us to understand the same. Now coming to the posterior surface, whatever surface we are finding like this, actually what this margin, see, see this was falciform ligament, isn't it? And this is, which ligament is this? Yes, Hemalat, loudly.
Coronary.
Very good. Coronary ligament. Okay, coronary. The same coronary ligament is now coming behind. See, but it is enclosing an area. It's not covering the superior aspect of a part of the liver is not covered by coronary ligament. Very good, bare area. Okay, so this whole area which is left over and which is not covered with peritoneum is actually bare area. This is the superior layer of coronary ligament, and then it is coming and getting reflected like this. This is the inferior layer of coronary ligament. Margins on the right side, right triangular. No, on the left side, left triangular. Okay, whereas the upper parts, the superior layer of coronary ligament, the inferior layer of coronary ligament. In between, no peritoneal covering. Hansraj, you were telling something.
Bare area.
Very good. Bare area of the liver. Okay, so that is, this is the posterior surface, what you are seeing from behind. So the posterior surface is presenting bare area. It's presenting this vein. What is the name of this big vein of our body? Inferior vena cava. inferior vena cava. Now you are finding one lobe here. What is the name of this lobe?
Also, arrow नहीं दिख रहा है.
Just a minute. Just a minute. So here we were, isn't it? What are you finding on the screen?
Posterior surface.
Okay, so we were looking at this posterior surface. So we have this bare area, okay, then inferior vena cava. So you have, see, this lobe is actually called as caudate lobe, okay, and adjacent to caudate lobe, are you finding there is one fissure? Okay, what is the name of this fissure? Fissure for ligamentum venosum. What slide is there on the screen?
Same posterior surface.
Okay, and this impression where I'm scrolling the arrow now, this is actually an area where we have esophageal impression. Esophagus comes down like this, continues as stomach and then duodenum. We will see the impressions, of course, labeled one later. For now, for some idea, the posterior surface is presenting bare area, inferior vena cava. Okay, we have caudate lobe, isn't it? Then this is the fissure for ligamentum venosum. Okay, and this area will be for esophagus. Okay, so this is posterior surface. So the posterior surface, now see, liver has been removed here. Okay, you are finding stomach. That means esophageal impression will be here. Okay, inferior vena cava comes like this. Okay, and of course this is the posterior layer of the dome of the diaphragm. Okay, so outline of the liver is shown so as to show like these are the structures what we see from behind: esophagus, inferior vena cava, and the posterior layer of the dome of the diaphragm. Okay, so that is. So the posterior side bare area we see, inferior vena cava we see, and the fissure for ligamentum venosum we will see. Now, see, this is the bare area which is shown exclusively. Now, first of all, you should understand, beta. See, this is the anterior aspect from where falciform ligament has continued, isn't it? Now, you are seeing the falciform ligament is fanning out like this, okay, and it is forming coronary ligaments, isn't it? So, if this is seen from anterior aspect, you call it as anterior layer of coronary ligament, and this is seen from behind, which is actually continuing like this behind. Now you call it as posterior layer of coronary ligament. So whatever greenish area is shown, it is all covered with peritoneum. But whatever this light bluish, whatever color you say, this area is actually not covered with peritoneum. That means coronary ligament comes like this and it is just going like this. Okay. And when you see the margins of this coronary ligament, what is the name given to these margins?
Triangles.
Huh. If it is on right side, right lobe of the liver, you call it as right triangular ligament, and towards the left side it is left triangular ligament. Okay. Okay, so that is now see here. So the bare area, sometimes bare area itself may come as a 3 marks or 5 marks question. So overall the shape of bare area, it looks triangular. Okay, the apex is formed. See, suppose this is triangle and this becomes the apex of the triangle, which is formed by right triangular ligament, and this becomes the base of the triangle, which is formed by groove for inferior vena cava. Because behind we have inferior vena cava. Just now I have shown the other picture also. Piche we have inferior vena cava. Okay, upper limit. This is the upper limit. Whatever is written as anterior, I have been using this word only. Superior layer of coronary ligament. Upper limit is superior layer and lower limit is inferior layer of coronary ligament. Okay, and this particular area behind, in the previous picture, what did we see? Behind, what is there in this area? Diaphragm, isn't it? So this bare area is actually related to diaphragm, and at this point behind we will have right kidney, above which right suprarenal gland will be resting. Okay, so this is bare area, very very important, bare area of the liver. Okay, so this is all bare area. This is the apex. Okay, right triangular ligament, base, inferior vena cava. This is the superior layer of the coronary ligament, inferior layer of the coronary ligament. This particular area is shown from behind, liver is shown from behind. This is the abdominal cavity where liver is removed to show like inferior vena cava is here like this. And we are seeing the right dome of diaphragm. Can you see the kidney outline here? And this area is actually bare area is having the right suprarenal gland, where I am showing you the arrow, right suprarenal gland. Okay, so that is, so this is Datta's picture. Whatever easy you can practice. Falciform, superior layer of the coronary, inferior layer of the coronary, right triangular, left triangular. You can see the reflection. This area is not receiving peritoneum. That's how you call it as bare area. This is inferior vena cava. What lobe is this? Caudate lobe. Caudate lobe. Here we have quadrate lobe. Between the caudate and quadrate, what do we have?
Porta hepatis.
Porta hepatis. Now, if you see the continuation of the journey of the coronary ligament, it is just covering the caudate lobe, and you can see it is forming a fissure, depression here. Okay, this depression is actually called as fissure for ligamentum venosum. Fissure for ligamentum venosum. Okay, it comes like this and it is getting attached to the margins of porta hepatis. We know the margins of porta hepatis is giving attachment to lesser omentum. Do you remember I told you lesser omentum is actually coming from the margins of porta hepatis to the lesser curvature of the stomach. Now you can clearly understand the peritoneal reflection. Started like falciform, superior layer of coronary, right triangular, inferior layer of coronary, covering the caudate lobe. Then fissure for the ligamentum venosum, then covering the margins of porta hepatis, continuing as the lesser omentum. Okay, this area is lesser omentum. Okay, that is the other ends of this coronary ligament. We already know this is left triangular, isn't it? Left triangular. This is right triangular. This margin, this margin. Okay. Now see here. Which surface of the liver is this? Excellent, inferior surface. What is this area? Lokesh? What is the name of this area?
Suprarenal.
Bare area. Bare area. Nothing but it is, see, you are finding the coronary ligament, inferior layer here, right triangular ligament here. This is, isn't it? So this is bare area. Isn't it? You continue your journey, inferior layer. Okay, it is coming like this. Then this is the fissure for ligamentum venosum, I said. No? Then it is coming and covering the porta hepatis. Margins of porta hepatis. Now it will continue its journey as lesser omentum. Lesser omentum. Okay. So what are these two lobes? This big lobe is right lobe. Small lobe is left lobe. Towards the gallbladder, anteriorly
Quadrate.
Very good. Quadrate lobe. Behind we have caudate lobe. You can see yesterday I told you, from the portal vein, all hepatic veins will